Yo, it's Mike, me, and Hammah on the mic. Old school sports, Boston, we keep it real tight. Celtics, Sox, Bruins, Pats, we talk that fire. Boston's rawest voice and taking you higher.
Hey, welcome back everybody to Old School Sports with Mike and the Hammer, and let's get right to it. We're going to be talking about your Boston Red Sox, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and how about a little bit of Patriots? Tom, let's get right to it. The Red Sox are 23-31. They're 5-5 in the last 10, but they still haven't convinced me they can hit the ball. And what's worse, they can't win at home. They're the only major league team that hasn't won 10 games at home. What say you? Why? Why is that?
Well, first of all, I'll say, Mike, the Red Sox had one job, and that was to keep some sort of interest until September, until football season. And they couldn't even do that. They were eliminated, pretty much at the end of May. And you're right. They've only won 9 games at home, which is pathetic. They used to have such a big advantage being at home. They're 9-18. And the thing is, they can't hit home runs, and Fenway's a home run hitting ballpark. And I get so many stats showing why the hitting is probably the worst we've seen in our lifetimes.
Yeah, it goes back to, they say, the dead ball era is the last time you can find as bad a hitting team as this Red Sox team is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty bad. I mean, pitching isn't bad. They're ranked 9th in baseball. I mean, you would think in the old days the Red Sox were the big home run thumpers and score 1 million runs.
Right.
And then they'd lose these 11-9 games and stuff because they had no pitching. Now they got decent pitching. They can't hit the ball. Total runs, 29 and 29th out of 30 teams. Home runs, 29th out of 30 teams. Batting average isn't bad, 15th is middle of the pack, and hits are 15th. But the problem is they get hits, but they don't get the doubles, they don't get the triples, they don't get the home runs. They got to string together 3 hits in a row to score a run, and this team can't do that.
They must be, I don't know the statistics, but they must be leading the league and leaving runners on base, not knocking them in. They have to, right?
Yeah, because they get first and second all the time, and that's it. Then the inning fizzles. But it's hard when you have certain guys like Durbin, the third baseman. He's batting 163. Marcelo Maya, he's batting 219th. Duran, your guy, had 4 hits last night to get his average up to 213. And Navarez, the catcher's 218. And then Trevor Story got hurt. Thank God for that. He's only batting 206 and playing crappy defense. So you can't score any runs the way they score 3.7 runs per game, which is abysmal. And the best is Washington at 5.3. That's a run and a half more a game. That's the difference between losing those 1 or 2 run games and winning those 1 or 2 run games.
I saw a stat, I think the average is like 4.5 for an average team.
Yes.
Yeah, so they said if they just hit the, looking at their schedule and look at what they've performed thus far, if they had just hit the average, they would have a winning record.
They would, and that's where analytics come back in.
Analytics.
But you know what? The game is played on the field.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if you go by stats and stuff,
yeah,
they should have a much better team than they do.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they fired the manager. But you know what? It hasn't really improved.
No.
I mean, like you said, they were just 5-5 in the last 10.
You mentioned a lot of players, and I still like Duran. I just love the effort by Duran. I know he's kind of a head case, but he does play hard, So.
We go through this.
I know.
This is your favorite player, and I think the guy.
I like players that play hard.
I understand that.
I'm sorry. In any sport.
All right. I like Butch Hobson. He played hard.
Yeah.
I like Trot Nixon for when he played on the Red Sox. He played hard.
Dirt dog.
This guy is fake hustle. He is an idiot. Duran, he runs the bases like a jackass and gets thrown out all the time. But he doesn't care because he got a single or he's got his double. Okay. He can't catch a fly ball. He cost them last year against the Yankees in the playoffs, a routine fly ball. He dropped it. They lost the game 4-3.
All true.
This guy sucks. And one of these days, your eyes are going to open. You're going to say, I don't know what I was looking at.
No, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I love an effort in any ball player in any sport.
I look at him as a spaz. He's got his arms and legs going every different direction, but nothing gets accomplished. I think he's the most overrated player we've had in Boston in a long time.
Okay, all right.
So that's all I got on him.
All right, so next up, Cleveland, Yankees, and Tampa Bay. It doesn't get any better for them, They got a lot of the teams they're playing got great records.
Well, they got Baltimore in there too. Don't forget about them. Baltimore's a 500 team. So, it's not going to get any better. Right now, they're 23-31 in last place. You know.
Yeah.
But, you know, then the Red Sox fans will say, hey, we're 3.5 games out of a playoff spot, which is kind of sickening.
Right.
That's how bad things are going. Yeah. But you know what? Hey, Mike, show that little picture I sent you. There's help on the way for the Red Sox. I didn't even show you this image.
The AA guy?
No, this is even better. This is the Three Stooges playing baseball. That's basically what the Red Sox are right now.
Right.
They're a bunch of clowns. Their fielding is a little better, but they can't hit the ball. And when it comes down to a close game, they always lose. But speaking of that, there is help on the way, though. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. But down on the farm in AA Portland, there's a new phenom. I mean, everyone has been talking about Anthony, you know, Mayer and Campbell, and really none of them have really done much. But these are supposed to be the three big studs. But this guy here, Franklin Arias, is rated higher than all of them. He's a 20-year-old kid, and he's playing, like I said, in Portland, Maine right now. He's a shortstop, great athlete, throws righty, bats righty, 5'11", 170 pounds, 20-year-old kid. He's batting .346, 11 homers, 29 RBIs, and everyone, the OPS, you know, your power numbers. And if you're over 1,000, you're elite. Those are like the Manny Ramirez's and the Judges. This guy has 1,084 OPS. This guy mashes the ball. So.
All right, but you just said AA, right?
AA.
Do you lay an asterisk behind that because it's not AAA? Is there a big difference? There is a difference, right?
There is a difference, but the thing is, nowadays, the AAA is more the players that have been sent down from the majors. They're more like older players. Your studs are in AA. And I got a source up in Portland.
Okay.
And this guy has been right in the past. He told me about Mookie Betts before anyone knew anything about Mookie Betts. And, you know, he told me about Jackie Bradley. He said, this guy, great defense, can't hit a lick. Right. He was right on with him.
Sure.
But, you know, he's seen Devers go through there and, you know, Bogarts, you know, guys like that. But he said this guy here is above all of them. Wow. He is saying this is going to be another stud like Mookie Betts. So he's saying buy all his baseball cards right now and get anything you can because it's going to be worth a lot of money in the future. And I believe him because he doesn't just spout out. It's like every 5-7 years he says, oh, and the other one, Josh Reddick, you remember him? He had a pretty good major league career. Red Sox, A's, bounced around, I think maybe Cleveland and stuff like that. And he said he was a pretty good ball player too. So if he's telling me this Franklin Arias is by far a standout, the other day he pinch hit and hit a home run. So he is playing, he's like a man amongst boys playing in AA. And sometimes that really does show up when it gets to the major leagues. So I'm banking my money on this guy being right.
All right, so what you're saying is your source in Portland, there's no hyperbole to him. What he said, he speaks the truth. He doesn't exaggerate anything. He'll tell you like it is, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so having said that, are we going to see this guy come up at one of the September call-ups?
You know, the tough thing is he's only 20 years old. I mean, if you're a team like a Tampa Bay or the A's or Cincinnati, you know, low-budget teams, you could see him. But the Red Sox are so friggin' cheap. But they won't bring him up because they'd rather have another year of eligibility to hold him back.
You still get eligibility if he only comes up in September, right?
It all depends how many games he plays.
Well, they'll limit it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, he's 20 years old, he's in AA. You probably won't see him.
Hey, Roberto Clemente, Al Kaline, these guys all came out at 18. If you're a star, you're a star. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
And if you need the help, bring them up.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for them. I mean, I see you wearing your shirt today, so.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, it's a troubling year, but I'm still going to be a Red Sox. I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. That's not going to change, you know.
Right.
I'm not going to jump to the A's or anything. Although I do appreciate the A's.
Yeah.
I do.
There you go.
Are we done with baseball?
I think we are.
Okay. Hey, the NBA. You've been watching the Knicks and, you know, kill everybody?
You know, that was a real yawn because I'm tired.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, the Knicks, they just wiped out Cleveland 4 straight. They're 12-2 in the playoffs. They've won 11 in a row. But to me, it's an easy road. Atlanta, Philly, and Cleveland. I mean, come on. They all suck.
Yeah, especially Cleveland. Cleveland just laid down. I've never seen anything like it in my life where they just like allowed layup after layup and, you know, shot after shot and not make any adjustments. I don't know how. And they kept this guy, this coach. I thought for sure they were going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
You know, the Cleveland coach after that debacle.
Well, the thing is, Cleveland was up game 1, 22 points with 7 minutes left. And they totally gagged it away. So the series was lost right there. After that, they just got rolled every game.
They got to put him. They should have put him on the mat there, just like McHale did to Rambis in '85.
Yeah.
You know, they were. It looks like the Celtics were on their way to losing, and you know, and we know everybody knows the story. You got to do something like that. You got to shake it up. I mean, the Knicks would he was allowing the Knicks. That coach was allowing the Knicks to do whatever they freaking wanted, and it's almost like they didn't care. We can't do anything about it.
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, analytics is so much embedded into basketball. But the Cleveland Cavalier coach, what did he say? Analytics says we should be up 2-1 in the series.
But you're not.
But you're down 0-3.
You're not.
It does. You play the game on the court, not on a piece of paper.
The eyeball test.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, that was a fireable offense right there. Oh, so you think you're doing a good job because analytics says you should have won 2 games even though you didn't win any? It makes no sense.
His biggest sin was okay. So Brunson's got the ball, and you know they want to pick off him. So Harden ends up with him. You know, all right. Well, give him some help. Put somebody else in. Put him on a defensive specialist. Forget about Harden's offense, which, by the way, has suffered greatly in the last couple of years. He's not the same James Harden of old.
No.
So put him his ass on the bench. Put a defensive guy on Harden and make an adjustment. Do something.
Well, we had the same debate in the Celtics series against Philly. I was blaming the coach, and you were blaming the players. And right there, you're blaming the coach for not taking, Harden out of the game. And when it was the Celtics, I was saying Missoula, he went to a zone, and then Philly couldn't score, and then he went out of the zone, and Philly won the game. And
but he made an adjustment.
But then he's an idiot, and he adjusted back. When the other team couldn't figure out the zone, he gave him a break and went back man to man, and then Philly won, the game.
But they had a lot of good looks too, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
coaching is very important in the playoffs in the NBA.
Yeah.
And you could say that the Cleveland coach cost them a couple of games, and I can tell you Missoula cost the Celtics probably 3 games.
But speaking of Joe Mazzulla, right? Newly minted Coach of the Year, and they did an informal player survey. Not counting the coach you play for, all the NBA players, who's the coach you admire the most and would want to play for the most? And the highest percentage of players picked Joe Mazzulla.
Right, because Mazzulla thinks he's a player. He practices with them and stuff like that. You never have to worry about any criticism, and you can do whatever you want. I mean, the players pretty much run the asylum. I mean, really.
He was a good college player, but beyond that, I don't know.
But I don't know. I just think, games 1 through 82, Missoula's a good coach, and that's why what Coach of the Year is.
Yeah.
If they had the same award for playoff coaching, he would have finished last in my eyes. So
let's move on from that. How about the Jaylen Brown, Stephen A. Smith? Is that worth newsworthy?
Well, it's a big battle going back and forth between the two of them, and I mean, I blame both of them in a way, but Stephen A. sometimes thinks he's bigger than the game. He's just a media personality, and he's getting into a verbal battle with Jaylen Brown, the star of the Celtics. I mean, what is he doing? Well, he has to stay in his lane.
I think Jaylen Brown's the idiot because the only one that's going to win out of this is Stephen A. You're giving him a platform. Don't even give it to him.
Yeah.
He's biting. Stephen A. He's throwing the hook out there, and Jaylen Brown's just he's biting and taking the bait. Don't even go there with this guy.
I mean, it's got to calm down. I mean, I understand right after when Brown did say some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so my favorite year ever, even though they lost when they were huge favorites against Philly.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like you were kind of saying that because you were the man and Tatum was injured. So, Brown said a lot of questionable things since the season has ended. I think he's kind of shooting his way out of town myself with all the stuff he's saying.
Well, the way he covered that up was saying that, it wasn't so much my statistics, but how we performed as a team when we were supposed to be a 500 team at best. And he just the growth of the team, basically without Tatum, That's what he was trying to say. Anyway.
I just think you got to break it up. I mean, Brown wants to be the number one guy because he got a taste of it. Tatum obviously is the number one guy because he has his coach. Mazzulla, his guy. The organization believes he's the guy. And, I mean, he does have more talent. Brown plays with more passion.
Yeah.
Tatum has more talent. If you could somehow give the passion Brown has into Tatum, you'd have the best player in the league.
You'd have Larry Bird.
Yeah, pretty much. So the other series, quickly we'll touch on, San Antonio and OKC.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this series all year long.
Yeah.
By far, those are the best two teams in the league, I think.
Absolutely.
But the series really hasn't lived up to it. OKC's up 3-2 right now.
Yes.
They play tonight. But the games haven't really been that close. Game 1 went to overtime. I'll give you that. But then, OKC wins by 9, wins by 15. And then San Antonio wins by 21. And then OKC wins by 13. The games aren't coming down to the end. I mean, it's just been domination on that certain night, one team or the other.
Yeah.
And tonight, like cameraman Mike was saying, it's going to go 7 games.
And why is that?
Because the NBA is fixed. And if the game tonight we're doing this on a Thursday. If the series ends, the next NBA basketball game is next Wednesday.
No matter what happens.
No matter what happens.
Right.
So that's why San Antonio wins tonight. They play a game 7, and everybody watches game 7. You get all that revenue, all those eyes watching on TV,
Lot of money.
and then you start the championship next Wednesday.
So Konak says, Red Rover sends Scott Foster right over. What's his nickname?
He's the extender. Anytime there's a team losing in the series, Scott Foster finds a way to put the other team in foul trouble. It's the most corrupt thing ever. His Donahue, who was his running mate, is in jail for fixing NBA games. Yet this guy here, who was texted 105 times on a single basketball game, earlier in the day before the game was played, somehow got his hands wiped clean of it and is still in the NBA, refereeing these big games. So
how's that happen?
Because the games in the NBA is corrupt and fixed.
Doesn't he have something like a 26-4 record of refereeing the game? Like right now, San Antonio needs to win tonight.
Yeah.
So the teams that need to win, he has overwhelmingly positive record, like a 26-4 record of the team that needs to win going in. That's why the league sends him in.
They do. And a lot of times, if you think about it, the team losing in the series isn't the better team. So to have a percentage of that happening, it's crazy. You would think it should be like 50-50.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the team that has less talent somehow always wins the game. But
I'm not a major conspiracy guy, but I'm in on it with
him.
With him, yeah.
So. But back in the day, it was Jake O'Donnell. He was the guy that was the extender back in the day.
Real strong.
Yeah. So there's certain guys that have always been in the pocket of the NBA. They just give them a wink and say, you know what to do tonight.
Yeah.
So.
There's nothing said. There's nothing on tape that they can catch him on, but it's understood.
Yeah.
How about Derek White, NBA All-Defensive Team? About time, right?
Yeah, well, he had to do something because he certainly couldn't shoot this year.
No, I don't know what happened. Maybe hey, you know what? A lot of times these things come down to, when we say things in all sports, what happened, it comes out they had an injury, right?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. Will Campbell, man, he had an injury, right?
He wasn't that great before he got hurt.
Well, he wasn't as bad as that. So.
Yeah.
All right, you want to move on to the
NHL.
The NHL? Okay.
I can go with a quick, the NHL. Everybody thought it was going to be Colorado against Carolina.
Yeah.
Colorado in the first 2 rounds was 8-1, and Carolina was 8-0. And they're like, what a collision course. That's going to be a great finals.
Yeah.
But the skunk at the picnic is the Vegas Knights.
So tell me what happened. You were saying that they fired the old Bruins coach.
Yeah, Bruce Cassidy got fired with 8 games left in the season. They brought in John Tortorella. He's a hard-ass guy. But then again, Cassidy is too.
Yeah.
So usually they replace a hard-ass with a softie, but they didn't. So Tortorella came in. They went 7-0-1, and you're like, oh, it's a pretty good end of the season. That's what barely got them in the playoffs. In the playoffs at 12-4, they just swept Colorado 4 straight.
Unbelievable.
It really is crazy. And the thing is, Mike, put up this thing I sent you earlier today. There's 6 teams in the NBA and the NHL had better records than Vegas and didn't make the playoffs.
Wow. Yeah.
Vegas was the last team out of the 16 teams that made the playoffs, and they're in the NHL Finals, Stanley Cup Finals.
So both Cassidy and this Tortorella guy are both hard asses, right? So sometimes it comes down to just need a fresh face, a fresh start. Start over, if you will.
Right.
Just out with the old, in with the new, and try something.
Try a different voice.
Try a different voice.
But here's the thing, which is crazy, okay? See, in hockey, if you lose a game in overtime, it doesn't count as an overtime loss. It just counts as an over. So Vegas was 39-26 and 17 ties. But they really lost those games, but they still got 1 point. So they're basically a 39-43 team. They had 95 points during the season. The team they just beat was 55, 16, and 11. So if you do the same calculus on that, it's 55 and 27, 121 points. That is an enormous upset. And they beat them 4 straight.
I don't know, what year did they incorporate that rule there?
It's been about 15 years now.
It's
But the weird thing is,
craziest
if you
thing.
lose, you lose.
Yeah.
And that should have been like what's Bugging Hammah. That bugs the crap out of me. That you can lose the game, but it doesn't count as a loss.
Right.
You know, it just
You get a
it
point.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you played 5 minutes and no one scored and you didn't have a shootout and it ended up a tie. All right, it's a tie. But not when you lose in overtime. That's a loss.
What is this, farm league where everybody gets a trophy?
It's soccer, I think. You know, jeez. But I'll tell you, here's the thing that's a kick in the ass. If you're a Bruins fan, Vegas got a team in 2017, an expansion team. They won the Stanley Cup in 2023. They're in the Stanley Cup Finals again this year. Your Boston Bruins have won 1 time in 54 years. This team, Vegas, could win 2 times in 9 years. So tell me which team has the better front office personnel.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a couple other years that they sniffed it and they didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So they're a quality team from the get-go.
Yeah, and then that's what it is. Upper management is you know. And talk about the guts, though. This McCrimmon guy had Kelly McCrimmon to fire the coach with 8 games to go in the season.
Wow.
And look at the results. Tell me he's not GM of the year.
Well, that's an eyeball test. That's a gut. There's
Yeah.
no analytics there.
No.
It didn't make any sense, right?
Didn't make any sense.
But he had a gut. The eyeball test say, no, we got to make a change. This is not
Yeah.
working.
He had to look at it and say, we got the talent. Why aren't we winning?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So in the Eastern Conference, Carolina's up 3-1 against Montreal. Montreal won the first game 6-2, and you're like, whoa, Montreal, and maybe they're good. Carolina has steamrolled them. And the funny thing is, Carolina won 2 of the games in overtime, so you're like, oh, they must have been close. But no, the shots on goal, and a lot of people say, oh, what does that matter? It really matters in this series because Montreal cannot get a shot on net.
No.
It is incredible. They were outshot 26-12, 39-13, and 43-18 the last 3 games. 108-43. And the game that's the deciding, it was 2-1, the game that made it 3-1.
Yeah.
Freaking the Canadians, it goes to overtime. Well, this is actually game 3 of the series. The series was 1-1.
Right.
It goes to overtime. The Canadians had 1 shot in the whole 3rd period and 0 in overtime. Talk about like total domination. It's like every time Montreal touched the puck, Carolina was inside their shirt.
You know, without seeing the games, the way you're describing it, it's like they were in a straitjacket or they're playing in a phone booth. They couldn't move, right?
Couldn't move.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And they just kept circling in the offensive end, and they couldn't even get the puck out from behind their own net. And every goal that Carolina scored in the series has been pretty much a turnover because Montreal cannot get the puck out of their own end.
You know, I know this is going to sound sacrilegious, but I was kind of hoping Montreal would do something in this and, come back. They haven't won the thing in years. I mean, I'd like to see them. They're original 6, and, they broke the Bruins' heart a lot in the 70s. I mean, the Bruins would have won 5 cups in the 70s. It wasn't for Montreal and Ken Dryden. But in a strange kind of way, I was rooting for them to, do something here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the Canadians haven't won since 1993, so you don't have that hatred you used to have for them.
Right.
It's all old news, like you said, back in the 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I thought they had a shot only because Carolina had lost 17 out of their last 18 games in the conference finals. Carolina is like the Buffalo Bills, the biggest gaggers in the sport.
Wow.
And they lost game 1 6-2, and you're like, whoa. But they're so much the better team. Even though they're gagging, they're still winning.
All right, so it's going to be
It's going to be Carolina
and
against
Vegas, right?
Vegas.
Okay, you got a winner? Or?
I'll give Vegas a puncher's, because I mean, like I said, going into it, Carolina was 8-0, and you're like, oh, who's going to beat them? So now they're actually 11-1 in the playoffs. Carolina will be favored, but Vegas is on such a roll. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave them a long series.
Well, let's not.
We'll have to ask the Bear or Timmy who they like.
Let's not put the cart before the horse. Montreal's not dead yet. They got 1 foot in the grave, but.
Yeah, true.
Right.
But like I said, the last few games they can't get any shots on net.
I know it looks bad.
And
looks bad.
to the point, they kind of broke their will at this
Right,
point.
right.
So, all right. Do you have anything else in hockey?
No, real quick on the
Okay.
go ahead, World Cup, just
Yeah.
so put it to bed. I don't
Right.
think there's really a lot of interest around here anyway. I don't see it. What do you think as far as the World Cup?
Maybe when it starts, people get into it and stuff.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of like a headache with traffic and.
I was just going to say that. That's all I ever hear. I'm reading the paper. It's all about the traffic. Everybody's worried about the traffic. Nobody, is there a game going on or not?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing though. All these World Cup fans, they're getting fleeced. I mean, they're charging them $90 for a bus ride down to Gillette. Oh, you can't call it Gillette because they covered up Gillette's sign. It's called like Boston Stadium or something.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because FIFA doesn't want to give any free advertisement to Gillette.
Let's go back to the Knicks series. We were talking about prices of tickets and everything. You said the average ticket price is going to be, and I don't know how they came up with it. The third and the fourth game will be in New York. They said the fourth game, the average seat's going to be like $4,500 or something. Something insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to sit on the bench, besides all these movie stars and everything, they said could be up to over $100,000. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
No, I don't think so. I'm not doing it.
No. Anyway, so we're done with the World Cup.
Yeah, and the other thing, the French Open started, and I didn't know one thing. The French Open turned into a fashion show, and there's like controversy because a couple of the women were wearing the same outfits. The number 1 player in the world was wearing the same outfit as the number 88th player in the world, and it's like a big scandal now. So, but when did this happen? I thought it was always let's play tennis, but now it's a fashion show.
So you got to be a good player to wear the best outfit.
Basically, you're supposed to bow down to the better seeded player and let them wear what they want, and don't infringe on their apparel.
When did fashion become a part of
Well,
sports?
when it started was the WNBA. If you see that now, you in all the sports, you see football players walking off the bus.
On the draft, too.
Or everything like that. Now, WNBA, they all come on dolled out. Certain players will stop, pose, turn, this and that, which kills me, though. The Caitlin Clark, she comes off the bus, she storms past everybody, walks right through the photo shoots. She don't give a crap about that stuff.
Right.
She's there to play ball.
Yeah, she's in a T-shirt and shorts. She don't care.
Yeah, she don't care.
No.
So,
yeah.
All right, let's jump to real quick. We're going to go to, I want to talk about Bill Belichick for a few minutes.
Sure.
Talk about a fall from grace. I mean, a few years ago, he started dating a 20-year-old.
Good for him.
And he's 49 years older than her. Wow. And right then, people are like, he's losing his marbles.
Yeah.
And then he gets fired from the Patriots job. Nobody in the NFL will hire him. He goes to North Carolina. First season, North Carolina, 4 wins, 8 losses. They ended up 14th in the conference. And the thing is, that is a school that North Carolina, they used to have like a really good program, and a lot of guys went to the NFL. Drake May, the Patriots quarterback, graduated from the University of North Carolina.
Sure.
This year, they had 0 players drafted from Bill Belichick's team. So he obviously got a lot of new players in with nil money, but like he did when he was here with the Patriots, he certainly cannot judge talent.
No.
Because none of those guys turned out to be anything. Now, the thing is, 31 of those players are now in the transfer portal. They want out. His 3 quarterbacks, Gio Lopez, Bryce Baker, and Max Johnson, all 3 quarterbacks gone. So it's a total disaster in North Carolina. This guy probably should be in a nursing home and not on a football field.
So looks like it's a mass exodus out of town, right? And I think the reason is because they look at Belichick as like it's all about him, and he doesn't. It should be all about the players. That's what most good coaches do. They make it about the players. So they realized, they saw real quick. I mean, there was a lot of influx coming in, but it was just as fast as it came in, it was going out, because they said this guy's all about himself, and we don't want any part of it.
Yeah, plus they're college kids. They want to drink beers and have fun, and he's just like. Methodical. You got to be at practice. You got to lift weights. Here's your playbook. And you don't have any fun playing with his program. It's their kids. They want to have fun.
Yeah, and I know they make money and everything, but it's like he's treating it like they're making the NFL money, and you can whip the hell out of him. You just can't do that.
All right. So another thing in football, A.J. Brown. He's supposed to be traded from Philadelphia to the Patriots, June 1st or June 2nd. Do you think the trade's going to go through?
I do.
Okay.
I really,
because that would add so much to the Patriots if they could get him a number 1 receiver like that. But I have a backup plan. Josh Sweat, who got 12.5 sacks last year from Arizona.
Yeah.
And he kind of wants out of Arizona. So I think you either get an A.J. Brown or you're getting Sweat, because you've already allocated that money towards a big-time player. And for some reason, if someone in the last minute steals A.J. Brown from you, you can go defense and get your pass rusher.
Okay.
But the thing with A.J. Brown, I looked at his contract. It's a great contract.
Okay.
It's a $7 million cap hit this year. It's a $9 million cap hit next year and $11 million in the third year. So that's nothing. Where in his salary it's just real money. $29 million this year, then it drops to $21 million, and then it goes up to $30 million. So it's like real money, not cap money.
Right.
So if Kraft can open his wallet, you could really add A.J. Brown, and it wouldn't affect anything because you have $43 million under the cap right now.
Wow.
So you would have a shot. If you spent money, you'd have a chance to do something here.
And we're talking about windows, like, especially with the Celtics and everything, but the Patriots will have a window with him of, he's around 30, am I right?
Yeah, he's 29, he'll be 30 coming up, yeah.
Yeah, so what do you got on a player like that? You get 3 to
32,
5,
33.
30, 3 to 5 years, 5 years tops.
Yeah, he's got a knee issue, though, so I think if you can get 3, maybe 4 years out of him, you're going to be happy with that.
And I think you got to go all in on him. And I guess all in is, I guess the asking price is like a first-round draft choice, but not in 27, because 27 is supposed to be a good year. They want to make it first round in 28.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's going to. The only thing is, I think Kansas City might have a little fly in the ointment here because Rashid Rice is incarcerated again,
Yeah.
and now they're in need of a receiver, and so they might join the bidding war, the sweepstakes.
Well, that's what I was saying. Some might swoop in at the last minute and grab him.
Yeah, so
Because
you
you know
got
what, all
backup
we've
then.
heard about is this A.J. Brown to the Patriots. And a lot of times when you hear about something like this, it never happens.
Yeah.
So it could change.
Okay.
So we were going to do the schedule, but let's do the Patriots schedule next week.
All right,
So I'm just going to jump into
What's bugging you?
bugging Hammah.
go.
All right, Boston ownership is driving me crazy. All these teams are so cheap. And I did a deep dive into it, and I even shocked myself, and I'm going to shock you right now.
Go ahead.
The Bruins, I'm ranking them as the best ownership in town. And here's why. They spend money like idiots. They sign the wrong players. So it's incompetence is their problem. That's why they don't win. But the floor in the NHL is $70 million, and the ceiling is 95.5. The Bruins spend 94.6 million, just a shade underneath the most you can spend under the cap.
Wow.
So to me, they're spending the money. They just have Cam Neely and
Lifetime
upper management.
lifetime appointment.
Yeah, they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
But they spend the money like drunken sailors.
Okay.
So that's that.
Fair enough.
And the Patriots are second by default. And here's the reason why. They're $42 million under the cap. They spend $268 million, where Philadelphia is the top team at $387. The Patriots rank 23rd in spending.
Okay.
And to me, it's like, that looks pretty bad, but it's better than the next two teams I'm going to talk about.
All right.
So, and the Patriots have won the 6 Super Bowls too, because they had Tom Brady. And so they've had success, even though they've always been cheap. The Celtics used to spend a lot of money until Bill Chisholm bought the team last year and his ownership group, and it's gone downhill since then. I mean, they got rid of Porzingis and Horford and Holiday and Cornette last year. They cut $71 million from the payroll from one year to the next. And that's why in the playoffs they failed, because they didn't have the veteran leadership off the bench and stuff like that. They had a bunch of guys that were young players that played pretty good during the season, but when the shiny big lights of the playoffs come on, they weren't the same guys. And the Red Sox, who, if you asked me this 10 years ago, I would say they're the #1 team in town, but all of a sudden they've gone cheap. John Henry bought the team in 2002. They won the World Series in 04, 07, 13, and 18. 4 championships. And we hadn't had a championship in 86 years. They were the love of the town. But since 2018, they've gotten rid of Gonzalez and Betts and Price and Sale and Bogarts and Devers. They won't spend any money on anyone, and when they do, then they jettison them out of town a year or two later. So they spend $197 million, that ranks them 12th in baseball, but they generate a top 3 revenue with their ballpark and their TV station they own and stuff like that. So they're making the most money they ever made, even though when they won championships, they made less money because they spent more on players.
I'm going to give you a little pushback. I listened to all of them. Now, the Celtics, right, I think they would have made the change, whether it was this guy Chisholm or Rick Grossbeck. They still would have made those adjustments because they had to get out of that luxury tax, that second tier. I mean, it saved them in real dollars like over $200 million. That was going to happen under the old ownership regardless.
True, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see what they go going forward. I mean, the Celtics have an option now. They can either stay under the cap for 2 years in a row, or they have to stay under it 2 out of the next, in the next 4 years, they have to stay under it again.
Okay.
But if they go over it again this year, then they pay a lot of penalties again. So my guess is they're not going to spend any money this year, get under the cap 2 years in a row, and then we'll find out what kind of an owner this guy really will be.
Maybe they'll get LeBron James on the cheap. Not that I want him.
No.
We done there?
I'm done there.
All right, I want a quick Mike's Minute?
Yes.
Real quick. Okay, we're talking about John Henry's Liverpool team, his football, which is really soccer. Okay, so what happened was his management team, they notified the fans that they were going to be increasing ticket prices going forward in the next couple of years. So immediately the next home game, the Liverpool fans boycotted the concession stands, and they didn't buy anything, any food or drink and everything. And almost immediately, right after that, they said, "Oh no, never mind. We'll keep the ticket prices the way they are." Now I applaud that. Now, could that ever happen? I don't think that would ever happen in any other Boston team, especially the Red Sox. What do you say about that?
Never happened.
No.
Red Sox fans, first of all, most of them are Irish from Southie, bunch of drunks. They're not going to go to a Red Sox game without drinking beers.
You can't say that, Tom.
Well, I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you the way it is.
All
So they're going to spend, $21 on a watered down beer, and lots of them too.
Yeah.
And then obviously you bring a family of 4 or whatever goes to a game. You get to buy little Johnny and little Allie. You have to buy them.
It's an event.
You got to buy them their popcorn. You got to buy them their
pennant.
Yeah. Their ice cream in the Red Sox cup.
Your fingers.
You got to buy all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no way around it. I mean, I'll give credit to these people.
Oh.
They're Liverpool.
I applaud that. I applaud that. They're saying, well, we're not going to put up with this.
Yeah, I mean, well, unfortunately, the Red Sox fans are sheep, and they'll keep accepting terrible baseball, and they'll still show up at the park.
That's why they said, John Henry, you can stuff those hot dogs and beers. We don't care.
See, it worked
It
there.
It worked.
And there's the thing. Henry owns the Red Sox, too. Imagine if they did it here. Maybe we'd get some results, but it's not going to
So that's a
happen.
message to all you Fenway folks out there.
Yeah. Stop eating the crap.
Yeah.
All right, healthy.
I think that's a wrap.
All right, all I got to say is if you like the show, give it, hit a like, subscribe. And the other thing is, today's Mike's birthday.
Hey!
Most people on their birthday, though, right? They get a cake, they get cupcakes. But Mike, he's a specimen. Plays basketball 3 times a week. He doesn't eat crap like donuts.
Not usually, no.
He doesn't eat cakes. He doesn't eat anything like that. So what I found was these chocolate chip healthy cookies. Believe it or not, these things were in the healthy aisle.
Did you bake those?
I know, I bought them. They're healthy. So there you go. Nice. So that's all I got. Wish Mike a happy birthday. Mike, throw some confetti down.
And you didn't mention my age. 27 today.
27. In dog years. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week, and hopefully the Red Sox can win a few games. I'll see you then.
Thank you.